In this part of the country, we're used to mild temperatures for most of the year. Our summers are warm but not too hot, and our winters are wet but not too cold. So, is this recent cold snap something to worry about?
It is just a reaction to something that we don't have often enough to really protect against. If these things only come along once or twice a year, then you're not going to invest in everything you would need to invest in to make you snowproof. That isn't to say that it isn't a source of major discomfort for people, and that isn't to say that it's, more importantly, high risk, particularly for the elderly. Obviously, people living on the streets, it's an awful time of the year, and they need to be looked after and really got out of those conditions. For the elderly, we know that when you have a cold snap like this, it's followed by an increase in the number of deaths. So we have excess winter mortality of around about 20,000 over a winter season. And it's almost exclusively people over the age of 75. So the take-home message is, if you've got an elderly relative, then try and avoid them having to go outside, go do their shopping for them, go collect their pension for them, and try and keep them in a warm, stable environment.
And what are some of the basics we all can do to stave off the cold?
Most people walking about won't be getting hypothermic. They won't be having a reduction in deep body temperature. What they will do is they'll start to get very cold extremities. And the air temperatures are not really at the level that we would worry about frostbite, for example. It is just a matter of trying to maintain thermal comfort. And there's some very simple things that you can do. I'm seeing loads of people, because they're not used to this environment, you see loads of people walking about with insufficient protection on. They'll wear gloves, they're often not wearing a hat, they're often not wearing anything to protect the neck region. They may be trying to get their insulation by wearing a big woolly sweater or a fleece, not realising that actually quite a lot of the cooling power of the environment is coming from wind. So really, the outer layer should be something that is windproof. Just adding a simple cagoule to the outside of everything else you're wearing can make an enormous difference. Females do a lot worse in the cold than males in terms of sensation. They feel colder sooner and for longer. And that's down to their physiology. So, not everybody's the same, but everyone can help themselves by some just really simple practical measures. So for the rest of us, it's just a matter of dressing sensibly, having a windproof layer on top, and understanding that, this is unusual for us, but there's people living on a day-to-day basis very easily in much worse conditions if you go Norway, Sweden, anywhere in Scandinavia.
Ultimately, although we're not used to this type of weather, it's not going to last forever.
Don't panic. We've got a pretty bad track record of protecting ourselves against all of these different extremes, because we don't get enough of them to have that embedded in our culture like they do in other countries. So, if you're going to go out and it's cold and you want to stay comfortable, start warm, dress properly before you go out. Don't do what we all do, which is wander down the street, zipping up our coat and putting our hat and gloves on. Have those on before you leave. And remember to, you'll get insulation from a fleece or from a hoodie or from a woolen pullover, but you're not going to get protection against wind. So put an outer layer on that's windproof, because it's the combination of wind and cold, wind chill, which is really driving how much cooling's going on and how cold you feel.
So if you can, stay warm and stay indoors, because spring is on its way. Honest, Richard Stringer, That's TV.